Maayong hapon sug Maayong hapon Sugbo, Kabisayan, Mindanao, Pilipinas ug tibuok kalibutan. Maayong hapon sa tanan nato nga mga kasibiya nga nagtan-aw nato karon sa tanan natong social media platforms. Sangan sa tumakaubanan sa Sibiya TV, kauban sa dang Department of Labor and Employment ug University of San Carlos. Ako si Angie Saniel ug welcome mga kasibiya sa lain na sad nga episode ug edisyon sa atong tulumanon din tabangan mo namo sa pagpalambo sa inyong tagsa-tagsa ka mga negosyo. Mag-Negosyo Ta Bai. Adlaw na sab nga Sabado ug daghan na sabtag makatunan mga kasibiya kalabot sa ato ang mga business. Last week atong naila-ila ug nagpangumusta ang ato ang mga winners sa nakalabay to nga mga season ug nanapud tay nakatunan kalabot pud sa usa ka entrepreneur. So more on the qualities of an entrepreneur ang atong nahisgutan for I think the past 2 sessions of episode nato dinhi sa atong tulumanon sa Mag-Negosyo Ta Bai. So gikan sa ethics sa leadership, misunod to ang kinaiya sa usa ka entrepreneur mga kasibya karon magkat-on na pud ta alang pud sa tong products, mag-focus ta ngadto na pud sa tagsa-tagsa ka produkto ug gawom kay ni alang karon nga we know na paghihapon ng pandemic ug daghan paghihapon ang nagnegosyo ilabi na gyud sa pagkaon mo nang atong mga bisita karong hapuna mga kasibya daghan tag makatunan gikan nila gawa sa atong speaker ang ato asad nga mga KNN winners nga mo share sab sa ilahang mga nahimo na diha sa ilang tagsa-tagsa ka mga business and of course yun sa nila pag-survive bisan karon nga naa paghihapon ang pandemic apan sa di pa na nato sila maila-ila ato asang pangumustahon ato makaubanan dinhi sa USC-KNN. Unahan nato si Ma'am Carmen Pyramide. Ma'am Carmen, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Miss Angie. Excited kay ko sa ato ang session karon no. Dili lang sa kanang tungod sa atong preparation but also for our speaker today. Dugay na ako siyang kaila pero dugay-dugay na sa may way contact no. Pagkita ay lang mi sa San Carlos usahay pero igid mi magkahimamatay karon himamatay na gid mi maayo. Virtual lang gihapon. So ato lang agmihon ang atong mga tigpaminaw, maminaw jud mo maayo, labi na gyud katong naay mga negosyo no kay magamit ra gyud kaayo ninyo ang unsay atong topic karon kay magamit na ninyo sa inyong mga produkto.
Yes. And tungod sa Ma'am Carmen, naman taron sa last natong episode for the month of May, kadali ra no mga kasibya, maghihapon silang encourage ang tanan nato nga mga viewers to submit ang kinatibuk-an nga listahan nato no sa atong mga pangutana ug saktong tubag sa ato mga episodes for the whole month of May. Marag daghan-daghan batag semana ma'am no for May nga kinahanglan ma-accomplish sa atong mga viewers. So katong mga naka-answer na for straight 2 weeks or 2 weeks nato nga mga episodes, dili na pud sila maka-appeal this time ma'am no kay twice a month raman nga tugutan nato nga makadaog ang usa nato ka viewers. So hopefully katong uban diha bisan katong makayan winners nato nga appeal nato for the past session karon sa pag-compile sa pangutana og tubag pwede gid kayo mo nga motubag sad ana mga kasibya.
Ato ingnon said Miss Angie, we will get 3 winners, no? And each winner will get 500 pesos. Wow.
So, mangugi lang yun.
Pwede sa nilang i-review, no? Okay, when are you going to get the list? And Miss Angie, or ako man day, no? So
yes,
I'll give you until tomorrow, Sunday, to submit your entries.
Yes. So, hopefully, mangugita man kasi to review again ato ang mga episodes and i-gather na ninyo ang tanan nga pangutana og atong mga tubag plus sa ato pong session karong hapuna dinhi sa Mag-Negosyo Ta Bai. And gawa si Ma'am Carmen, of course, ato pong kauban si Sir Devin go. Sir Devin, maayong hapon.
Mayang hapon mga kasibya, welcome to Mag-Negosyo Ta Bai program. So finally this week naka-release na ta og grants no sa uban nga applicants niya. Once again mo invite na pud ko sa mga tawo nga mo submit og application form para sa KNN. Abligid ang KNN season 16 karon, pwede lang sila mo text sa 0917 322-0868. Usbon nako 0917-322-0868 or pwede sila mo chat sa Messenger Devin Go welcome na kita sa open na kita sa mga application form, everything, the virtual gyapon. Usbo na ko virtual ni tanan ang ato ang seminar, atong interview, site visit, virtual lang kayo ni. So pas-pas kayo ang process na karon. That's why this week nakahatag na ta og grants oban applicants, no. So we're looking forward for more applicants and more grantees, no. Thank you, Charis. Thank you.
So hopefully ato ana pod na silang maila-ila din Sir Devin pohon no kato mga nakadawat sa og grant alang sa ato ika-16 nga season. And of course, ato ding pahinumdum Ma'am Carmen no alang sa gikatakda na pod pohon nga pagpahibaw nato sa big winner for season 15 sa USC-KNN gihapon. So ay mo kabalaka katong murag na pending tungod gud sa pandemic, muhatag na po sa award kung kinsa atong big winner for season 15.
Kuan niya Miss Angie, amo na silang itawag for kuan kanang interview kana sila tanan do. Amo na silang i-meet up. No? Apil na si Mr. Franklin. Ato na silang i-meet up and then mag-interview ni with the rest of the team.
So hopefully active gihapon ang mga ni-appeal nato during the season 15. Medyo naapektado lang gyud tano tungod sa pandemic but we will continue gyud to help you alang sa inyong tagsa-tagsa ka mga negosyo. At also they acknowledge earlier mag nakasud si Sir Edwin Pastrana pero nakagawa siya balik sa Zoom but maybe later makauban na pud nato siya dinhi sa ato ang virtual episode alang ni sa Mag-Negosyo Ta Bai. So this time makasibya ato apong ila-ilahon ang ato apod nga mga winners sa nakalabay nato nga mga season nga ato pong gikauban karon dinhi sa atong episode this afternoon. So unahon nato si Ma'am Marina de los Reyes. Ma'am Marina, maayong hapon.
Maayong hapon, ma'am.
Yes, Ma'am Marina, alang sa mga pa nakaila nyo paila-ila ta ma'am o unsa imong background aron makahibaw sa datong guest unsa imong business unsa imong gikabisihan karon nga pandemic.
Okay, ako si Marina de los Reyes, taga Sandayong, Guadalupe. Na ako direra ang akong negosyo, mga kakanin. Pero specialist na ako, biko. So, ang akong negosyo, pinagi lang na ako, butang lang ako siya o kanang consignment lang man ba, mga karinderya. So, niya, ang pasalamat po ko diri sa mga silingan, kaya supporter po kayo na ako sa akong negosyo. Ang medyo arang-arang na gid ang halin nako karong panahon na kay naka-additional naman sad ko, so makontak ako kisa tong mga kauban ako nga ganahan ako mo kontak aning mo sa order na kong biko or magsin unsa nga kakanin makontak na ko ani akong number nga 091511779193.
Okay. Kuan ka ma'am no kato consignment gihapon wa pa ka ni gamit og kanang social media sa imong Facebook or nisugod na ba kag
na ma'am nagbuat na ko ako ang page pero ako koy kuwang kay paninglan man ko boosting.
Ayaw lang sa i-boost kuan lang paninduta lang sa siguro imong page Ma'am Marina and then sunod na imong pag-boost pero nalipay ko no kay from na interview ka na mo di pa dugay-dugay nga nakatod ka sa social media karon naghimo na kag Facebook page. Ato niya na i-check, Ma'am Marina. Thank you kaayo.
Kanang kung ano siya, ma'am.
Sa pangalan?
Rina de los Reyes o Marina Mardayana. But daghan man na kayo. Daghan man itong gikwentuan ako eh.
Pag niagi, wala pa karon naghinubra na.
Ma'am, sa
boosting na gani siya sa iyang FB.
Lagi boost naman. Oy, sige.
Gamay pa mag-reaction.
Sige. Ato anang tanawon ako na later mabasin atong mapakita po din sa atong episode later on. So thank you kay Ma'am Marina sa imong gamay background aron na apoy idea ang ato ang bisita karong hapon sa inyong mga business. Gikan ni Ma'am Marina ato pong anhion season 15 man ni Sir Frank no. Sir Franklin Pantaleon. Sir Frank, maayong hapon.
Maayong hapon ma'am, maayong hapon sa mga viewers nato karon sa Mag-Negosyo Ta Bai. So ako dai si Franklin Pantaleon, so taga Bito, Minglanilla. So ang ako ang product is gibrand na ko or gitawag na ko is Eurico Spicy Hipon bagoong processing. So sa ako ang hipon natay tulo ka klase, natay sweet hipon na wala jud na siya ay siling, then regular spicy, and the last is Yuriko extra spicy hipon. So mas double ang kahalang compared sa regular spicy hipon. And also ma-check ka since wala man ko'y physical store para mag-display sa ako ang product. Ako ara nang gi-post sa Facebook, so makita lang sa page nga Yuriko Spicy Hipon bagoong processing, or you can search Franklin Pantalion and sa Facebook, then automatic ra na ako ara nang gi-link ang page sa ako ang main account. Para tama.
So mo to'y business ni Sir Frank, later atong pangumustahon unsa naka-effective imong mga himo karong pamagi sir or ma-market gyud ang imong product. Thank you very much Sir Frank, and nakitaan sad nako niyang produkto kay si Ma'am Carmen. Kugihan man kani mag-share sa atong page no. So kita ko ato sa sample nga mga packaging sad ni Sir Franklin. Gikan ni Sir Franklin anhita sa naguna pod ni di lang kita mosulti sa tuig kay basta naguna ni siya. Ang atong show may queen maayong hapon na Marites Musni.
Good afternoon sa faces sa USC-KNN, si Ma'am Carmen o si Sir Devin. Pila na ka years no nga sila gyud gasugod hangtod ron gauban gyud sila nato. So ang mga members they come and go. So mas mayo gyud nga mo stay kay dili ta mo quit. Na jud kay mapaabot daghan personally makakatuon ka. So we pray nga sus madugay pa jud nga magkuyog ta. Ha? Onya, ako ang produkto pork siomai. Akong produkto pork siomai unya dire ra ko sa balay wala na ko'y physical store sugod ato pag pandemic na. So konon gipa-develop ko ni Sir Devin og lain nga produkto nga kanang higher ko nung kanang mas maayo nga produkto ba kanang higher nga ang level. Lain nga level. So
ang social.
Sige lang, hinay-hinayan ako. Unya, karon sakto gyud tong sulti ni Angie nga ang Facebook kuan yun no kanang bisan pag mag-boosting ka daghan kaayo mo boost man yung tinuod daghang mo view pero may lag 10% nga mo palit nimo. So maintag ma-Instagramable ta ba no nindot unta kay ingon man si Angie nga daghan jud ko nung mamalit sa Instagram.
Yes,
So but anyway,
nindot na mag-picture imong siomai, makadani gyud to.
mao ba? So anyway, sige lang kanang hinay-hinay lang yung tagihapon. As long na maka sustain ta, okay ra kayo. Okay ra gyud kayo. Nya salamat kayo naagihapon ko ha. Siomai sugbo, pork siomai ako ang gibaligya frozen unya makontak ko ninyo 0923 739-8434. Makuha raw niya. Kana lang for now.
Yes. Ako na ipakita rong tod ang I think na may mga pictures sa si Ma'am Marites sa iyang produkto aron mahatag idea sad ang ato ang mga kasibya. Thank you kaayo Ma'am Marites, si Sir Frank and also si Ma'am Marina sa paghatag og brief background lang sa ilang tagsa-tagsa ka mga negosyo. Again, alang na sa ato ang mga tigpaminaw of course, alang pod sa atong bisita karong hapon tungod kay related man ni sa ilahang nga mga business ang ato pong topic for this afternoon. Kalabot ni mga kasibya sa food labeling and packaging ang atoa nga hisgutan. So magamit gyud din nilang tulo ug sa uban pa natong mga naminaw karon kay daghan tag mga KNN winners nga into food business gyud sa ilang pag-apil. Nagatoy uban nga lahi ilang produkto panahon sa pandemic ni shift sila no into food products like katong last week katong nanahi naghimo nagkakanin ug uban pa nga mga produkto. So this time makasila pala ilang ato ang bisita and hopefully makabalik pa ni siya sa ara nato daan sa pagsugod sa atong tuluwanon. Ato ang bisita karong hapon mo tabang kalabot na sa pagpanindot pagpagwapa sa inyong packaging ug labeling sa inyong tagsa-tagsa ka mga products. So, ang atong bisita is a Certified Food Protection Manager sa US-NRA ServSafe, Certified Lead Auditor, ISO 22000 Food Safety Management Systems, Certified Lean Expert, Certified Certificate 4 in Training and Assessment, Graduate Diploma in Food Science sa University of Melbourne, University Instructor, and CFCG Member, Food Safety Expert, Trainer, and Auditor. Atong resource speaker alang karong hapuna mga kasibya, atong i-welcome si Ma'am Ava Melia Rimonde. Ma'am Av, maayong hapon and welcome sa ato ang Mag-Negosyo Ta Bai program.
May hapon sa tanan na naminaw o mga viewers sa Mag-Negosyo Ta Bai. So, privilege yun no nga maimbitahan diri sa kaning KNN nga kaning grupo nila Ma'am Carmen and Sir Devin. Dugay na jud ni sa una pa ni nga physical pata. It's an honor to share also sa ako ang skills o knowledge kabahin sa food packaging and labeling. No? So, ginaot nga, may bitarag balik no? For another topic. In fact, ang kanig yung food safety, food technology is one of my kaning
Forte.
chosen area, no? Not because I love to eat, because yes I do, but also I'm curious about food, no? So what are the new trends, what are new restaurants, what are the new delicacies out there, but of course also we also love our own traditional delicacies, especially in Cebu, dito mga delicacies. In fact, we are very proud of our products. No, and they are actually world renowned right now, no, and all because they have evolved, no, evolved sila not only sa ilang product development but also sa ilang food packaging, no. So importante jud ni ang food packaging. So second to our main food product, ang ikaduha nga ka-importante mao ang giunsa nato pag-package atong pagkaon, no. So mag-share na lang siguro ko diretso, no?
Yes, ma'am. Pwede ra, ma'am.
In the way, lagi niya siya sa ako ang kuan.
Kana
controls.
Kana, ma'am. Makita na siya.
Akong tabs ba? Kani mo in the way. There. So, makita ra?
Yes.
Right, so I'd like thank you for the generous introduction. Just a disclaimer, no. Yes, I know a bit about food safety, food packaging, and labeling, but pinaka-expert is the business owner. They have been preparing that food. They know its proper preservation, and but we are here to enhance lang what you might not know yet. So. Tanan natin atong iyang expertise, no? So I would just like to acknowledge that these slides are shared to us by DOST-7, and CFCG is actually stands for Cebu Food Consultancy Group, which I am a member of. Mag-offer sa mga training, so kung ganahan mo og ubang mga trainings nga kabahin sa pagkaon or mga negosyo, pwede din nato sila matap, no? So maybe we can have a discussion about that sa mga topics. So sa karong hapuna, because limitado atong oras, we will just pick some topics about food packaging because this is a really extensive topic. In fact, sa ako pag-eskwela sa food science, no, kani usa ka subject, usa ka semester nga subject. So kay ato lang siyang i-put into chunks, no, para digestible para nato. So maghisgot ta karong hapuna kabahin sa klase-klase nga packaging materials. Maghisgot ta what are the product and package interaction, so between the surface of your material for your packaging ug unsay reaction sa pagkaon nga imong contain, no? And then we will also talk about labeling requirements in the Philippines, which I think some of you, especially kani atong mga business owners, nanay gamay kaibaw, no? this is very important, especially if you are going to serve markets that are outside the Philippines. They are very particular about this. If you are going to import your products to the US, to UK, no, to Commonwealth countries, they are very specific about this. Unfortunately, wala na tayo maghisgot sa branding. But I think yung mga winners na to already have an idea of branding, no? Siguro gamay lang ang coaching siguro, no? And then barcoding, I don't think we need this for now, but I'm sure nga in the near future kani ato mga winners manginahanglan na unya aning barcoding, especially if mag-distribute sila sa mga grocery stores, no, or kaning mga outside Cebu or outside Cebu province. Very important for traceability, no? So matrace na to asa napunta tong products. If there are complaints, it would be very helpful tool for tracing. And then maghisgot ta gamay sa nutrition labeling. I am not a nutritionist, but we will focus more on the nutrition label format lang, no? So una sa tanan kaning diskusyon sa food packaging, apologize ko because a little bit technical siya o a little bit chemical. So nahay mahisgyud gamay chemistry, no? So batigi lang ato lang himo kuano mas kaning digestible. So importante kay ang food packaging, no? And in fact, the Philippines, it's unfortunate that this is not one of our best features with regards to food products, no? So example na to, no, is we have really good empanadas out in the market, but they are just wrapped in plain wax paper or glassine. No? But still, they are tasty, no? But we also have equivalent of empanada in Thailand, no? But they are wrapped well in small boxes, no? So makaingon sa tang mabiyaan gamay sa uban natong mga neighboring Asian countries. Other example is kaning mango, no? Kaning nasa tuang left side, no? Tasty kay siya tanaw, no? In fact, mura kag mag-salivate, maglaway tagamay, no? But di kayo siya maayong pagkapak, no? It's just in a see-through plastic lang, no? Nga sealed kuan lang siya kanang mura normal sealing lang, no? And then compared to the other one on the right side, is really in boxes, no? We would assume these products are maybe imported. Another is kaning banana chips packaging, no? You know that banana chips is very famous among Koreans, no? In fact, if you go to this leading kaning mga grocery stores na diri sa Dakbayan, sila ang kaning murag banner products for Koreans, Japanese, no? So part of the success of that is the really presentable packaging, no? So that is one example. Another example is pumpkin seeds, no, butong pakwan. So they are just placed in polyethylene containers, no, single-use containers, and compared to the one that is hermetically sealed, no, sa ato ang right-hand side. So medyo mabiyaan yung tagamay, but sige lang, no. Kani paborito sad ni nako, no, tagaktak, mga delicacy from Mandawi. Ato ba ko? Mandawi, no. So tagaktak, it's also famous in Thailand, no. But they have different presentation, no. They put it in rolls. They look very enticing. But nevertheless, na ko'y makakumpit po na itong local products, no. Ang sa packaging lang ta mabiyaan gamay, no. So not very secure, it's just in very thin plastic, no, whereas the other ones are have a primary packaging, no, and then naapag siya secondary packaging plus the labels pag yun, no. So naktod pagkasulti, maka-imagine ba taong world na walay packaging? Siguro sa probinsya naanad ta kaning palit tag saging, ibutang lag kuan dahon sa saging or whatever, no. But if we talk about commercializing, packaging is really important, no. So first ato i-define ang sa packaging. So packaging is actually the enclosure of products, no? Something that encloses the products, or it could be any item packaged in many different forms, no? Lahi-lahi siya itsura. It could be wrap, it could be a bag, it could be a pouch, it could be a box made of paper or cardboard, it could be cups, no? It could be plastic tubes, it could be a tank, a tub, such as for ice cream, and many others. Ato na lang siyang tagsa-tagsaon later. So there are 4 important things about packaging, no? So first, we have to understand the basic purpose of packaging is actually to enable goods to be delivered to the point where they are wanted. So mag-una-una ta sa atong consumer, atong end user, no? Kung kinsa man ni sila, and we would like to make sure that since they patronize our product, we want to give them value for their money. A value for their money means giving them the fair weight and amount of the product consistently each time they order or buy. So that is one important commitment we have to our consumers. Second is that our product should always be in the right or the best condition for our consumers to enjoy, not to patronize, and that they have to withstand different conditions, now such as transport conditions. So we're not really sure, especially if atong gi-outsource ang ato ang delivery, but siguro sa atong mga winners, murag nangunay gyud ni sila, no? They really have trusted partners siguro, no? So but when you grow man good as a business, dili na nimo maasikaso tanan, no? And so you will have to hire other companies to transport your products, but you have to make sure that they are transported with care, no? That they are not just thrown around, no? And then very important, yung nagnegosyo man ta, they have to be cost-effective materials, no? So it cannot be that the value of the packaging is equivalent to the product kay may kansinta, no? So we have to look for material that will protect our product but will not burden us with the cost. Okay. So when we talk about food packaging, we actually focus on the protection of our food product. No? So we look at the environment. No? So asa man ni siya ma-expose atong product, mainitan ba ni siya? Hopefully not. No? Is this exposed to what kind of atmosphere? No? We also look at what is the intrinsic characteristics of your product. Is your product high moisture? Is it a dry goods, no? Or fried goods? Or high moisture, no? Kaning mga biko high in moisture magid siya mo na nakalamit ana niya, no? Malagkit no? All the more for bagoong, no? Mo gini nakalami niya nga naa siya murag sauce effect, no? Nga mura siya og appetizer sa atong pagkaon, no? And so however, that very characteristic nga desirable, mahusay, very important that we should watch out for, because these are actually factors that will influence or encourage the growth of bacteria if we do not understand the characteristics of our products. You know? So we are after extending the quality of our products. Yeah, shelf life. So I'm sure naka-discuss na mo na murag naghisgot mo food safety katong episodes ko no. So siguro nag-mention mo gamay about shelf life. No? So also the preservation of the content is very important. No? So if it's breakable product, food product, we make sure nga gwapa siya igaabot sa ato ang consumer, no? Kay makaano siya sa kalami sa imong produkto. No? So, and the freshness of your product. So, as I mentioned, very important to consider the handling convenience. No? So, the food packaging protects your product through the stresses of transport. No? So, magmalikayan nga usahay isa siguro ilabay, no? But kanang not the same care as kita nga nagnegosyo, no? Kung adto na ta sa mga delivery, hopefully mga lalamove or unsa pa ma-deform. Yes, no? So kana we have to look into that. Is our box sufficient to maintain the form of our product up to the end user? Wala ba mo reklamo or mabasa ba siya or something. And then the labeling also is a promotional tool in itself. Concern kita ganiha nga, yes, advertise ka sa Facebook. But don't you know that the first most effective promotional tool is the product itself? In fact, kaning mga millennials, no, before kaon, sure gina sila kung sila gikaon. So if they do have Facebook, they will actually just upload the pictures or for many reasons, either magpasuya or wala lang, ganahan lang, or nag-promote sa sila sa inyong produkto. No? So very important nga siya i-consider sa atong packaging. Okay. Also, if we look at kaning mga volume na gyud na sales, no, is we have to be conscious about the disposal of our packaging. If they are made of plastic, there should actually be, nakakita mo sa kaning juicy fruit gum, kung mabasa mo sa fine print anang sa loyo, they actually have a suggestion how to dispose of the gum, no? So hindot na siya inana nga practice, no? So but nevertheless, the material we choose for packaging should be easy to dispose, no? Okay. So there's a really big competition out there in the market, no? And if you look at this view of a grocery store, ito may common to all of them. They are all wrapped in packaging. Wala jud ka kakita dihang produkto nga naked, no? Except if you go to the fresh produce section, siguro no kanang palitagutan yes, they're just in open air, no? As they are. But nevertheless, some of these fruits are even do have primary packaging, no, which actually prolong their shelf life. Okay, so now maghisgot ta og package classification. No? So importante ni siya, especially if mo branch out na tano dili ra ta diri sa atong neighborhood mo maligya kunang makig-tie up ta sa Gaisano or mo adto tag mga grocery stores and you will say yes, we will supply you with my products. So it's very important to take note that there are different package classification, no? So you have the primary package, no? So primary means that it is the package that will come in contact with the food itself, no? So sabi ko, I'm curious unsay ato ang primary package sa ato labing ko. Is it wax paper, glassine, or unsa na siya, ma'am? Wala man siguro kadungog, ma'am. So anyway, na siya gi-consider na to primary packaging, no? For retail. And then nasa tayo gitawag og secondary packaging, which is the material that protects the primary package, no? So if it's sold in one pack, or like say for your kakanin baron, it is sold in 1 dozen slices, no? So imo siyang gibutang sa box, i-box ang imong secondary package, no? And then if you are gonna distribute extensively, such as for beverages, we have kaning atong gitawag og shipping or tertiary package. Mao na ni mga larger nga cartons, no? Cardboard, no? Or sometimes even pallet, no? Dinagko na gid siya volume nga supply, no? So ato ni hinumduman ang package classification ng primary, secondary, ug ang shipping package. So for food packaging, ang guidelines or rules and regulations nga gi-recommend sa ato ang Philippine FDA, no, Food and Drug Administration, through the enactment of Administrative Order number 2014-0030, muna siya nga sa balaod, no, that our food packaging should be non-toxic, no? It should be made of non-toxic materials, safe for you to contain your food in, no? Second, kinahanglan nga dili ma-contaminate ang imong pagkaon with microorganisms, No, recently lang makadungog ta og mga food poisoning incidents, no? Nakadungog ta no siguro kita brief kay tas mga balita. One of the reasons perhaps for spoilage could be the raw material is already spoiled, or second is that it is wrapped in wrong packaging. No, there is increased moisture, thus there is the growth of microorganisms. Wa siya nakahungaw, init pa siya, gi-wrap na siya. No? Another factor that you consider for food packaging, no, is to make sure that there is a barrier to moisture, barriers to water vapor. No? So, kinahanglan dili siya dali nga mabasa, no? And it will protect the product from oxygen, no, or open air. Just like very basic, no, when you eat chicharon, and then you cannot finish one pack, di na ito mahurot. Then atong biyaan lang diya sa countertop, diya dili na ito siya isil. The next time we come back, medyo humit na siya. Deteriorate na ang iyahang freshness. Because it's exposed to oxygen. No? Another reason is food packaging should be able to protect your product from UV light, natural light, or direct heat. No? So, atong hinduman niya, light or heat, what are nagikan sa sun? No? Sometimes it also comes from your storage area. Maybe in your storage area, naka-refrigerator. Pa-notice mo ng back portion of the refrigerator, that is very warm area. No? So if you mo na butangan diya og food products, ingredients, that can affect the quality or integrity of those ingredients. No? So another is food packaging should provide resistance to physical damage. So mo na natay gitawag og secondary packaging, no? Nga aside from the primary packaging, maybe that is glassine or wax paper, natay cardboard, no? In order to protect the kakanin or the biscuits, crackers, or whatever it is. And another recommendation by the AO 2014 is that the packaging should be, where possible, be transparent. Makita unsay sulod. Although there are some food now that dili kayo maklaro ang sulod, no? Such as kaning mga junk food, some of them are packaged for attractiveness, for aesthetics. So dili ka kakita unsay itsura, but being a consumer, buyer na nagsigig palit og mga junk food or crackers or chips, na natay imagination nga, okay, this is how it will look like. Okay. So again, according to the AO 2014, ako ibalik-balik. Siguro apili sa ato ang questions later sa ato mga viewers or listeners. So according to AO 2014, that food packaging should be tamper resistant or tamper evident. I'll take the example of kaning up cups. Kabantay mo aning kaning mga cheese whiz or kaning mga cheese products na spread ba, no? Diba na asay takob na if the first time you open it, mo pop out siya, no? So that is an example of a tamper evident or tamper resistant. So you will know nga fresh siya because the first time you open, mo pop yun na siya, no? Another is it is easy to open. Natay mga senior citizen or kaning mga PWD nga dili kaayo as strong as regular adults, no? So certain jarred foods should be easy to open. So, even kaning mga pagkakon, no? So kani siya. Maklaro ba?
Yes, makita.
Tungkol sa akong background, no? So sometimes kids, this is for kids, should be, the product development should be that kids can easily tear it open like that. No, dili kay they will wait for an adult to open it for them. So for the intended market, no? So dili pwede nga because this is the most economical way to package my product, I will go for it. No? So one is easy to open, It will have dispensing and resealing features. If it's ketchup and it's in a kaning retail pack, there should be a spout for it, no? So that it can be resealable. Because the moment it is open, the freshness can deteriorate. And then, again, this is repeated, no? The food packaging should be disposed of easily. In fact, some labels will show you how it is to be recycled. I will briefly explain to you later the meaning of recycling symbols. So, moving on, again, AO 2014 tells us that your food packaging should meet the size, the shape, and weight requirements of your food product. So if you are packaging sliced bread, you are packaging mga sauce or gravy, no? Then they should be in the appropriate vessel or container. What else? They should have low cost.
Question.
Yes.
Ano ba? Meet size, shape, and weight requirements. Kung magpalit lang silang packaging, like sila, no? Kasagaran na nila, magpalit naman o packaging. Doon ay unsay nga na, information ang kanang mamaligya nga. Kani para running this weight, kani para running this weight.
Commercial suppliers, tita, naagyo na sila, they can provide you advice. But if kaning mga wholesaler lang sa plastic or mga kaning brown bags, wala actually, wala na sila idea. Even they themselves need to be educated. So kamo, kay bawo naman taan ni karon, mo na yung knowledge is power, kay bawo man taan ni karon, we will try to research on our own, mangutana ta, sa man ni recyclable ba ni siya, kani di ba ni mo react sa akong bagoong or something to that effect, no? So it's really an ongoing learning process, no? So kaning sometimes it's a sad truth na kaning mga mismo sa kaning mga packaging, good sila knowledgeable, no?
Okay. Naasad kato na ka-mention ka earlier kato bitang toxic, dili toxic kaning plastic, di ba? Toxic man yung plastic.
Yes.
Yeah, some of us are using the plastic and plastic bottles. Like Franklin is using plastic bottles. So unsa may consequence ana ron?
Alright. So may note ni kay ma-preempt ato ang discussion unya. Madali
ra. Mao sige paminaw lang ko.
So anyway,
padayon.
In fact, sakto jud ka kita Carms. Sakto ka certain plastics can be toxic. In fact, when we go to the karinderya, then mo order at munggos na ting inita pa. Don't you think that the heat that is coming from that katong soup, baron or sabaw actually somehow affects your food, your quality of food, but because gutom na kay ka, di na ka mo care, no? Or it works for me, I've been buying this the whole time, ako na sakit, no? But in fact, US Food and Drug Administration considers, stricto kayo sila, no? Considers plastic as an indirect additive. No? Plastic kuno is an indirect additive because it can impart taste, it can react to certain food products. No? So there should be certain containers or packaging for acidic food, no? For oily foods, no? For foods that have to be reheated, ready to eat meals. Mo adto ka og 7-Eleven, di ba na sila ready to eat meals niya imo ibutang sa microwave, no? So there are certain requirements. So we will go to that. Ako na rin siya skip. This is just display of examples of labeling, labels, how labels evolved. In the past, Nescafe packaging looks like the one on your left, but now they look like the ones on your right. Not really different. But if you want to follow certain products of how they evolved in their designs, no, is interesting to follow. Kanijong mga big companies, no, such as Coca-Cola, Pepsi, no, makita nimo ang iyang evolution sa iyang logo, no? And perhaps kamo kay makaingon, bisag ko makaingon nagsugod pa mo no kani atong mga winners kay murag more than 3 years na ni sila tita o dugay na no.
May bago pa na sila ang uban.
Ah,
Si
buka pa.
si Miss Marites lang mo ay kuan.
Tigulang na.
Ako may
Kay
ingon
na
ha.
something mahatag sa itong mga younger generation, no? So maybe if you have somebody in the family na talent na mag-design o kaning logo baron, no? Then
We will soon have them go through that training. Kuan logo kanang corporate
branding.
Corporate
Sir
branding.
Devin, kay Sir Devin anda.
corporate branding may
Yes.
corporate branding.
Nindot na siya nga topic, no? So now kita sa different types of packaging materials. So, there are actually number of different packaging materials. Ako lang gi-skip ang metals kaning cans because kung nabantayan sa conversation with sa wala pa siguro yung nag-canning, no? Doon na ay nag-bottling karon, no? Which nagamit og jar si Sir Frank, no? So sakto ko nga magsugod ka sa glass, no? So glass kuno is a very effective container or package because it is inert. No? Unsa man ang inert? Inert means dili siya mo react, does not react to or does not have active properties that will react to your product na imong i-contain diha, no? Like it could be Spanish sardines, bagoong, sometimes pickle products, no? And then ang glass is impermeable, ligon siya. Basta di lang siya wala lang basta dili lang siya. Oh, yes, no? And then it is clear, and then it is able to satisfy the AO 2014 nga nag-ingon nga your packaging should be transparent. So clear, glossy. So on the part of the consumer, I can inspect my product. I can inspect the Spanish sardines if it is to my liking, no? Or yeah, so kana no, clear siya, and then reusable. Many of our mothers, titas love to collect jars. For many reasons, they're very handy kay na mga leftovers, makupan ka condensed milk, you cannot finish it right away, so you have jar and then you can reuse it, so recyclable. It is resistant to heat and internal pressure. In fact, it is cost effective because it is readily available, no? And however, the thing with glass is it cannot be an effective packaging if it has the wrong closure. Kung sa magigamit nimo pagtakob, no? If ang imong gitakob sa imuhang say atsara is a lid, takob nga naanay rust, then of course it will affect the taste of your product. No, it's either I smell imong product or madaot siya long before its shelf life. No, so the glass is only as good as its closure. No? So closures are gloss with polycarbonate film. Kasi kakuan mo na i-open imo i-feel ang texture sa surface sa takob. Naasay mo ra og gloss or shine. That is a polycarbonate finish, no? So make sure na unsay baho or unsay properties sa pagkaon na imong gibutang sa jar dili mo impart dito sa lid, which is normally made of lens, no? So there should be appropriate liners, no, to assure good sealing. Okay, so glass is heat resistant. It can withstand up to 500 degrees Celsius. You can sterilize it, no? And you can even steam the products in it, no? Or you can subject it to boiling or dry heat or in a hot air oven. But not all jars can withstand that kind of heat. Then you should know if unsa nga klaseng jar ang gigamit, no? Kung walay pangutana sa jars, we will proceed to paper. Now paper, the thing with paper is this is the most cost efficient ayo siya. Pinakabarato nga material for packaging is paper, no? Not the paper we used to write, but paper such as kaning glassine, no? Wax paper, no? Baking paper, no? So it's easily available. Yes. Low investment, nakanindot pa good is best for printing. Kabantay mo sa Jollibee or kaning mga fast food, ang ilang girap sa ilang rice na ay ilang mga logo, no? Because that, aside from the paper protecting the rice, it is promotional tool, no? Nga bisag rice lang na ang sud ana, that comes from Jollibee. It comes with your Chicken Joy. It comes with your McDonald's meal or whatever, no?
Pero,
So, yes, tita.
pero kuanon sad na nimo nga food grade food ang ink sa
Yes.
kuan.
It should be food grade paper. So,
Asa sad ang ink nga gamiton
yes.
to print the law.
Tita Carms would know kay you're in the printing business. Baka naman kita na may mga paper nga nag-print mo for food packaging.
Naandi ingon na naay kuan.
Yes.
Abi na sa kanang primary wrapping
Yes.
para kuan. Even kani adto kato mga hot dogs, naandi na sila food grade nga kuan.
Yes.
Glassine nga paper.
Yes, they should be food grade. Not all paper is food grade, no? So, going back to paper, one good thing is that they can absorb moisture, no? And they can withstand possible damage because they are flexible, no? And however, they cannot protect your product from chemicals, rodents, insects, no, and other microorganisms. So paper can be good for temporary packaging lang or kana ganing consume dayon nimo ang imong produkto, no? Like kakanin, kung mag-order, ilan na gid na i-consume na nila supposedly, no? And I think I do believe nga sa inyong kakanin butangan siguro sa ninyo inyong box or container nga consume before.
Kasagaran ka kanin ato kuan man kanang disposable kanang plastic bitaw nga kuan microwavable nga plastic.
Yes.
Is that not toxic?
That is accepted, that is food grade, but the thing is that cannot be reused as many times. Siguro 2 times is good, but kanang imo na gid siyang basa. No, because plastics have recycling symbols. The purpose of that recycling symbol, magtuon niya kauna, may kaning 3 ka-arrows, di ba mo nang recycling? Magkaon niya na, so meaning, this can be recycled, plastic. This is recyclable. Actually, that is an aid for the recyclers, not for you, not for the household user. Meaning, segregate sa mga plastic garbage. Ang ideal yun is to group them together in the same number type. So, kanang, if I'm not mistaken, kanang tab nga where you put your biko is an awa ihang arrow. Murag number 5 or number 6 na siya. So, the meaning of those numbers is actually its categories of plastic. Yung hardness, yung characteristics and properties, no? Because each plastic has different molecules, no? So, kita gamay sa chemistry, different atoms, different molecules of configuration. And so, they do not mix well. Just like you cannot recycle paper together with glass. So paper together, glass together. That's the same concept for plastic. So kanang makita ka recycling sign sa plastic, wala na siya nag-ingon nga, sige, gamitan na siya as many times as possible. But that is a guide for the recycler. No?
Kagaran na ba yung nana? Tanong.
Yes. I do use it, but 2 times ra gyud. Ako, di ko ganahan mag-store, ilabay, labi na ganang mga mantikaon na pagkaon, and then imo pang i-wash. Murag, I find that kanang hassle, no? So, ako na i-dispose na lang na siya properly in the plastic. So, napata sa paper, no? Paper packaging is classified into different formats. Kasi siyang format, no? So, paper is made into only the label itself. can be the package itself. It could be made into a pouch where you put the product. It could be a sachet, which is very common for Asians, Filipinos, because we have this tingy mentality. Kay, cost
Ojo.
efficient. Yes, cost efficient.
Ojo,
Same
product na ni Franklin.
Yes, because so sachets, bags, wrappers, and headers. Now that is another use for paper. Paper could also be paper cardboard, which could be made into cups, cartoons, bags, trays of your food. No, it could be used to hold multi-packs. No, so kanang siguro 24 pieces, so gibutang siya og paper board. No? Composite cans and drums. So kaning example, no? Kanin siya more junk food din siya, no? Sa sky plates, when you buy them in kaning 12s, no? As a secondary packaging, no? Although ang nasa ato Philippines is kuan man siya plastic, no?
Plastic na, plastic na.
For French fries, no? So mana paper board na siya. We also have corrugated board, which is can be used for shipping packaging. No? So mas lingkod ni siya si corrugated board, no? It's used for shipping boxes, partition your products, no? Para dili siya disarray sa pag-transport, no? It's a support, it's a pad, a tray, no? It could be a bin or a pallet. No? So what are the types of paper? There's what we call craft and sulfite paper. No? There is unbleached or bleached paper, mostly referring to color or quality or lining. No? There are also paper used for tissue, no? Or there could be wax paper. There is glassine, very common, and there is also vegetable parchment to absorb grease. Okay, so plastic, and na-preempt naman ito ang discussion sa plastic. Right? When we talk about plastic, as we said, as we mentioned, very important to acknowledge that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration considers plastic as an indirect food additive. And so therefore, you cannot use plastic because it is cost efficient for you. It should be compatible with the product that you are selling. No? So there are two types of plastic. You have thermoplastics, no? And then you have thermosets. No? So thermoplastics can be repeatedly heated, formed, and cooled. Mas lito is because you can repeatedly reheat your foods there. No? Whereas thermosets can be single use. No? They soften when they are heated and permanently take shape when cooled. Okay? So normally, thermoplastics, some ready-to-eat meals are placed in thermoplastics, but very common kaning mga food sellers, pinaka-economical gid nila thermoset, no? Kanang mga single use or kuan lang up to 2 use lang ng mga plastic, no? Kaya mas barato, accessible man sad siya, no? And it will finish their products. So plastics come in different grades, no? According to its quality, thickness, no? And if you go to a plastic packaging supplier, they are tailor-made for you according to the size of your product, no? Like if you have this kabantay on Danish pastries or Danish cookies, no? Where you have a container, pliable plastic. Ito na for example. They actually hold the shape of the cookie. No? So if it's a heart-shaped cookie, heart-shaped po diyang mold. If it's a round cookie, round po diyang mold. That adds to the attractiveness of the product, and it also protects the integrity of the product na it will not break the moment it reaches the consumer. No? Wapa gihapon siya nga cookie. No? So what are some properties of plastic that make it attractive or preferred by many food manufacturers. One is that plastic is lightweight. It can be strong, but depending on the quality, it is primarily safe. Primarily safe for many foods. But if your food is something that is to be reheated, then you have to make sure that you choose certain kinds of plastic. We will go to the classifications later. Plastic is flexible, so it can withstand some stress of transport. It is easy to produce. It's ideal for large sizes, and certain plastics are recyclable, although not all. So, mo ni siya ang issue giatubang nato about sa plastic is that some plastic can impart odor, taste, can pick up taste, and impart it on the food. So, certain plastics cannot be compatible with certain products. So, one reason nga dili to siya ma-recyclable katong si type 6 ba to, type 5 na plastic is because if it contains oily foods, it contains foods that are rich in spices, so you do not want the food that you will keep in the next time to obtain the smell of your binagoongang baboy, so di mo ganahan ana. So ganahan ka nga fresh gyud imong pagkaon, ayaw i-recycle imo ang mga single-use plastics for especially kami mga maliit nga foods nga dali kayo mo absorb og baho, nakay customer in your home or customer good in reality nga meticulous about that, so all we should be particular about recycling, dili ta magpatakag recycle. Never should we recycle for our customers. Siguro at home kana we are guilty of that, but for kaning selling, commercial use, dapat fresh, clean plastic yun ang gamit. So, mali ang mga common plastics that we have in the market. Medyo lisod siya litokon, so we will use acronyms, so kaning LDPE is actually low density polyethylene. So, moderation na lang po sa unsa gyud. Okay. Naa siya yung mga characteristics diri of what it is for. So, LDPE actually is good for water resistant, or water barrier. So, if your product is like saucy, high water content, moist, then LDPE can be good packaging for you. It can seal easily. In fact, application of heat, you can actually seal it. Kung nakay sealer sa balay, kasagaran ng household use, you can use LDPE. But if your product is to be reheated in that same container, you should be using HDPE, which is high density polyethylene. So the same characteristics as LDPE, but it is stronger. We also have PP or polypropylene, which is widely used, and it is also rigid, strong, can withstand high temperature. Again, can heating, reheating. And we also have PVC or polyvinyl chloride, which is actually preferred because it can be used for processing. So if you are using the product that you are in the container, then this could be a good packaging for you. And it is a good oxygen barrier. So like your product is actually particular about the crispiness or the freshness of the product, such as biscuits, corn, crackers. Then PVC can be a good packaging for your product. If you're looking for a plastic that will show the contour of your product, No, that is, you are gonna vacuum pack it, then PS is the best plastic for you. And this is often used for any frozen products, like kanang kita mo ni mga hot dogs nga gi-vacuum pack. That is, oxygen is sucked out of the packaging, so that, for example,
Mawala ang air, why air?
wala air. So,
Ma-preserve.
yeah, so kani siya. Di maklaro. So this is a seafood product, no? Ardex man siya. 6, no? So vacuum pack siya. So makuha mo ang form sa product. No? And then you also have PET. Kaning PET is what is for soft drinks? Mineral water. No? So mana siya, PET, polyethylene terephthalate. No? Clear, glossy, very strong. Keeps drinks fresh and fizzy. No? So if you are after that, nakakaimong produkto is a beverage, no? Then you can use PET. Only kasagaran magamit for LDPE, no? So it could be used for certain bread products. Kani siyang pang kuan man no, for kids, murag siya juice, no? And also some lids for ice cream tubs. So I'd like to just get your attention here that certain products can use different plastic materials for the lids and different plastic material for the body, no? Because the product itself requires stronger integrity of the container, no? So lahi ang plastic na gigamit sa iyang tub, lahi sad ang sa lid. And so therefore in recycling, they should be segregated, lahi ang ilang classification. So kaning HDPE, money common gamit niya, no, is for kaning mga beverages, drinks that contain dairy, some use for kaning pieces for fruits or other beverages, no, kani siya, mura siya shape into a gallon. This is ice cream also. And some grocery bags are made of HDPE. Okay, so you have also for PP, polypropylene. It's quite used for its rigidity. It is strong at high temperature. So you have here some ketchups using PP, plastic. Certain candies, confectioners are using polypropylene as well. No? The cups for your cooking oil is PP, propylene. Only the cups have, the body itself is different. For PVC, it's very common for the pharmaceutical industry. No, kaning pangalan sa atong mga tablets, mga medicines, no. Certain chocolates. Yes, ma'am, test na kay question. Wala. Okay. And then it could be also used for kaning secondary packaging, such as for pallets, kaning large quantities ba, no? Magpalit ka by dozen, by 24s, or something like that. No? Certain cups for jars are made of PVC, no? Such as what is a jam, no? Certain seasonings, no? Condiments make use of PVC, only the cup. Okay, so you also have PS or polystyrene, which can be used for seafoods, no, or no, and then one advantage is they are clear. Kanang magpalit ka usay kanang fruit salad in the supermarket, no, kanang, or sometimes we buy it by party, although karon di na tanaw party. They're catering ba, and then you buy this see-through plastic for your or beverages. And then styrofoam is an example of a PS polystyrene. No, it is clear, but it is brittle. No, easy to thermoform. Okay, this is one of the plastics that are not recommended for recycling because aside that it absorbs smell and odor, it easily breaks. So in recycle nimo wala na no, iyang integrity. So it's really one use. Many countries are banning it already, no? So they do not use styrofoam anymore. They go for paper or cardboard packaging and other alternatives. Karon ang PET, no, morning common sa atong soft drinks, no, which is the polyethylene terephthalate, no. Again, one good quality for this is that it can keep carbon dioxide inside the bottle, maintain the freshness and the fizz of your soft drinks, your beer. Now, although for beer, seldom need na plastic, no, because there is certain reactions between plastic and alcoholic drinks, no, that is not very desirable, no. Just like yes. Just like wine, nakakita ba mag wine nga gibutang og plastic container? Wala no? Because aside from wine is a highly acidic drink, no, because of the nature of the raw material, is that it does react with plastic, so it will impart an off taste. And in fact, if for wine, it should be glass, no, it should be glass. Yes, so there. So for PET, again, going back, PET products can be used for mga nuts, juices, water, condiments. So, muna ni siya atong recycling symbols, no? Nakita pa nga, if you are meticulous good, ang mga reverse side sa imuhang plastic container, or even kani mga small cups, mga takob, no? So if you see these 3 arrows and then I1, that is actually polyethylene terephthalate. And so all number 1 or PET products are recycled together, and they should not be combined with HDPE or PVCs together. So there are some cases where certain plastics with molecules configuration close to each other can be recycled together, no? But that will be a different discussion. Dili man ta mag-recycle siguro diri, no, commercially. So information lang.
Usually plastics, paper, una na lang din na.
Yes.
Murag sa garbage na lang na sila ikuan.
Correct. Yes. But there are really places like in Japan that they segregate their garbage into 46 categories. Grabe kayo sila ka-dedicated to recycling, no? In fact, Asian towns are known for its best practice, no? They know where to take their garbage, and 46 segregations na apply nila katong what we discussed na, like say an ice cream tub. Ang tub is lahi o grupo compared to the lid, no? So ingana sila ka meticulous. And kung ang ice cream na label, palitan paper or plastic yung label, sila pa din i-remove ang label o i-put in a different bin, no? So pugihan kaya sila. That is my responsibility mo to tatanan na ako, no? Hopefully sige lang sa next generation, why not, no? So money siya atong recycling symbols. The next category is called flexibles, but they're actually just a subfamily of plastic. So flexibles are pouches, sachets, strengthening itaog minudong coffee, no? They are in strips, wrappers, envelopes, films, foils, paper, cellophane, etc., or sometimes a combination. So for flexibles, these are the raw materials. It can be made out of film, combination of paper, sometimes even foil. Di ba kani atong chippy? no? Sorry ha, ako na junk foods. No, if you open them up, kanina lang ako example, ako ni ablihan, tanawa sa sod, no? Di ba foil siya? Okay, plastic siya sa gawas, but sa sulod is foil. So that's an example, no? So some raw materials could include the ink itself, the adhesives, the coatings, no? Even the kaning mga other features like the spout, no, the tape, the ziplock, sturdy nga plastic to hold it together. Kani siya, oh. This is a different kind of plastic than the body itself. No? So, ano siya ang mga components for different containers or flexibles. So, flexibles can have different formats. They could be web stack, meaning ginahan ka for minudo nga use, no, kanang mga uses of Colgate, no, sachets of kaning mga powder flakes, chocolate or kaning mga dessert, three-sided seals, flow wrap, no? So kaning strip pack common kay na sa atong mga sari-sari store. Bags, they could come in bags. They could come in gusseted center seal. Yung ano niya na dito ang iyang connection. Four-sided seal. Like mga cabinets or spices na four-sided ang iyang pag-seal. We also have stand-up pouches katong sa ketchup and small portions retail. You also have products like fruits, which are enclosed in ziplocs. Even detergents are using that also. And then you have retortable meals, meaning that before pag steamer in a different vessel or container, the package itself imo is subject to hot water, no, or imo siya steam for according to instruction for 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes or 2 minutes or something like that, or microwave. Pet foods, shampoo, tumblers. Other formats include the different finish, no? Some are Oh, you can
Maybe,
actually,
maybe ang co-op pwede na maka-offer nga service
yes.
debts. Palitag daghan niya.
Common
Ilalam.
facility,
Similar
no?
products that have like the same kind of plastic requirement, packaging requirement, then you can, yeah, of course, and buy
Mahal
it.
mong good. Sticker na lang ilaha para
Mm.
kuan kay sa printing di man sa tila kadawat kanang dinagmay dinaghan man food. So nindot ra pud ang sticker na lang.
Yeah, I think that can be done. That can be arranged, no? Yes. Pwede ra tita. And then for sealing types, like example, if you go to kaning mga hotels, restaurants, they can have custom-made small packages of products like kaning sa ilang sugar, sa ilang creamer, no, and then carry their logo or design in the packaging for making it personalized for them. So, money siya example. They can be
Nindot
sealed.
niya sila para sa sabon pud nga gagmay no para kuan hotels.
Yes. So it could be sealed in many ways. Na three-sided, four-sided, nasa saluyo. We call it sometimes gusseted or center sealing. These are some of the machineries for stick pouch.
Mo na among giambisyon na ni
Mo
Devin
niya.
niya.
So why not, no? Dream big, dream big. So kanino sa for stick pouch, three-sided seal. So kuan kay siya mga complicated machines but can make the job faster for you if you are going for quantity production. No, so this is for aseptic sealing, for tape pouches, no? Different kinds of sealing, zipper cup, straw, or have handles. So these are
Para ginagmay sa
yes, preformed pouches. So sabi siya more siyang juice, no, or something. Okay. So to summarize for flexibles, flexibles, as we say, is still part of plastic, but it is just plastic that is formed into the shape that will comply with the requirement of the product. So in a pouch already, in a box. No? So kaning cereal boxes, naman ni siya liner, and it's made with HDPE. No? Salad aids, where you put the portion amounts of salad dressing, no? Is can be PET, can be LDPE, can be foil, no? So that much of options. No? For poultry products, natay combination of PE and nylon, kay mas ligon siya. And then for bag in the box, combination of PE, PET, nylon, and PE. No? And then for hot dogs, katong vacuum pump can be mas version of plastic. No? And then can be also PE combined with PVDC, no, or PVC, no? Whichever is required for the product. So frozen seafoods, you have PS trays, you can use PET. So for powder medicines, you can combine PET, LDE, foil, no, tablets, capsules, vitamins. And then for fresh produce, we have options to use breathable film. So sa fresh produce karon, especially if they are already in the supermarket, not in the wet market, supermarket, naka-cling wrap na siya. That's an example of an OPP PE. No, naka-cling wrap, and then you cannot go to the counter kung wala to siya katong iyang price by weight. No, so that is the purpose. Easy siya nga mapitlan nimo og price. No? Breathable microperforated films. Some other applications for flexibles, kaning mga jelly cups, mga gelatin, no? Uses PET and PE, no? And then blend of both. Juice bricks, kaning mga mga zesto. Although zesto is using itong plastic pouch, no? But kaning mga other brands of juices, no? Ketchup sachets using PP, no? VOH, PP also, and then using combination of foil and PE. So kaning, yeah. So you also have toothpaste combination na aghapon siya foil. Shampoo sachet na aghapon foil. Peanuts, maintain its freshness and crunchiness also na siya foil. Karon maghisgot ka of product and package interaction. So that we will know how compatible is our choice of package material with our food products. So important to go back to the objectives of packaging is really to protect your product. And it is used to contain your product. And also not to forget that it is a promotional tool. You should be able to present your product with the logo, with the name, conspicuously. And then be able to identify your product among all your other competitors. So when you think of your logo or package design, you have to consider that. Do not try to look like your competitor. Otherwise, wala kay differentiation. Kinahanglan, kung yellow na sila, ayun na pag yellow, pangitag lang yung color name mo. So that you can stand out. Sometimes buyers do have atong recall sa mga buyers kay makalimot sila sa name but maka-remember sila sa color sa packaging. Buy the green green pakay. I know that's spicy ka ng green akong gusto nga chippy or whatever. So also packaging should be convenient. Okay. Sometimes kaning mga sellers masubraan sa scotch tape. Grabe kasi siguro kay handok sila sa lalamove baka magkatuwad-tuwad ang produkto, no? So nasobraan. So kinahanglan magunaon sa convenience, no? So also packaging should be able to prolong the shelf life of your product, the full life of your product. So from the storage to the transport and to the display. If you are supplying for grocery stores or bakeries or stores, outlet stores. It should be economical and should not compromise the safety of consumers. So with regards to how do I protect my product, it's very important is what is the characteristic of your product. So we go back to knowledge of food safety. What is the nature of your product? Is it high in moisture? Is it acidic food? Is it high water content? Etc. So these things you have to understand how your product behaves so that you can give recommendations as to how the product is to be stored. It should be refrigerated. It should be consumed within 24 hours, and so on. And then, of course, your product should indicate the required shelf life. So with that, we have different classifications now. Katong ganiha, classifications of food packaging, katong primary, secondary, and shipping packaging. Karon naghisgot ta sa food classification for easy matching with a type of packaging material. So we have 3 food classification. We have highly perishable products. So these are products that can be held for a short period of time. So when you have a short period, it will remain fresh or can be consumed between 5 to 7 days. Unless stored at really low temperature, either refrigerated or frozen, but would highly suggest frozen. Like example, budbud or suman. This is a very popular delicacy, And so if you want to prolong your budbud or suman, you can freeze it. It's a highly perishable product, but you can prolong its shelf life by considering its storage. So perishables to see. Another group is the semi-perishables. These are products that can stay for 30 to 90 days under normal conditions. So if you have orange juice, I will tell you it will last you 3 months, but you open the package and then you put it in room temperature, you have actually exposed it to temperatures that are not recommended for that product. And so, therefore, do not expect the orange juice to stay long. No, di na siya maabtag 3 months. No, but if you put it in normal conditions, follow the instruction of the manufacturers, then you have the guarantee that it will last according to its shelf life. No, and then you also have shelf-stable products. These products have minimal issues, no, because remember during the time when we cannot go out of our house, we have to buy canning online or buy in bulk. No? These are some of the recommended products we have. So canning canned goods, no, mga dried goods like flour or pasta. Ano siya mga shelf-stable food products that can last more than 6 months and you can store longer in your cupboard, in your wherever you store your dry foods. But making sure that they're in the right conditions. Dili siya in direct sunlight, away from pests and rodents. Again, the purpose of this classification is not just on the food itself, but based on analyzing the food. What is the compatible process that it should undergo, and what package material you should use for it, and what storage conditions should it be exposed to. No? So all these, so all these 4 things align. No, if imo tutukan mo produkto, no, and ikaw hibaw ka unsay proseso giaglian sa imong produkto, no, unsa nga, then you will sakto ba akong packaging nga gigamit nga papel akong gigamit, glassine paper, plastic, no, and then na ako gi-recommend na dapat refrigerated yun ni akong biko. It will only last for 5 days or something like that, but in refrigerated conditions, no, so that you are protecting yourself from future complaints. Okay, ingnon niya kaoy naglain ba akong tiyan sa imong biko. No, so kana mura na kaog. Yes, ma'am, but na mag-recommend diha ma'am na dapat refrigerated din na siya for 5 days. No? So kana we are after the safety of our consumers. Okay. So with that, knowing the intrinsic quality of our food product, and then aligning it with the processes that it undergoes, and then knowing what storage condition, what package material, we should understand, balik ka sa ato ang knowledge katong naghisgot tag food safety, no? There are many ways food can be deteriorated or spoiled. And one of them is the biological methods or biological means. That is, if your food is highly perishable, it's really very much susceptible to bacteria or microorganisms. In fact, how you should analyze your food is to know what is the target bacteria for your food. Kung na maligya kag frozen chicken, ang imong target bacteria is salmonella. No, because as we know, chicken itself really contains, chicken meat contains, naagi na siya salmonella. It is alive, baka nang sa chicken, warm kayo na siya, naagi na siya certain level of salmonella. But the thing is it possible to eliminate altogether all microorganisms? The answer is actually no. We cannot eliminate all microorganisms because we live in this planet, especially we're in a tropical country, warm, good atong climate, no? But can we control bacteria to an acceptable level? The answer is yes. Now, How? By educating ourselves, by knowing what is the right storage condition for certain food products. Again, mabalik sa ato, no? Get to know your product. Know the enemy. The enemy is the bacteria or the fungi or the mold. So kung unsay nature sa imong produkto ila-ilaha, kung canned products ka, your enemy is botulism, no? Clostridium botulinum, which will cause kaning mga cans nga mo bulge, kabantay mo nang dilata nga niburot na. Please do not take the risk of consuming those kind of products, because that will, I can vouch and say 100% lead to food poisoning, and that is very lethal, can even lead to death. No? So, kana ila-ilahon na to. Ang nakanindot na itong mga winners kay specific kay ilang produkto. No? So, siomai, makaila na dyan ka sa imong produkto kay nagamit ba ka ground meat, spices, etc. So, knowing that you use those kind of ingredients, get to know kung saan kahay mga bacteria nga ma-present ani ato ang ingredients. No? So, it's very easy to master them. So, I do hope inyong knowledge of food safety will raise. No? So, dapat inyo to take note.
Ato na balik-balik po ni sa.
Yes. So, this is what you avoid, no? Dili ta maghuwat atong pagkaon may ani, no? Mga full of molds. It's very kaning unattractive, mahuwag tagana, makikita ta may ani, no? Mga pagkaon. So we do not want this to happen to our products because of wrong storage, no? Or because of poor hygiene of our food handlers. No, it could be possible na ikaw mga business owner strict kay ka sa cleanliness, but imong food handlers are not well educated. So sila, they do not take hand washing as a very important activity. No? So it's very important. All these things should be monitored. No? So another mode of deterioration is chemical deterioration. No? Certain foods discolor over time. No? So particular papaya. Supposedly, kung atsara, di ba, guwapa man ang atsara, no? Kanang na siya gamay carrots, then the kanilang papaya, no? But kani siya ni darken na siya, no? So maybe it's beyond its expiry or expiration date. No, man ni discolor na siya, no? So we have what we call enzymatic browning, or also in other kinds of food, non-enzymatic browning. It might not be visible in the appearance, but in the taste. When you taste it, it has already off taste, or it's not the usual pickled papaya that you usually taste.
No?
So when in doubt, so unsa atong nakatuna sa food safety, when in doubt is
don't eat.
Yes, taste gamay, and if you taste something funny, you smell something funny, when in doubt, throw it out na siya. Sometimes ba kita Filipinos guilty, kita, oy, usik man na, hindi pa man na siya i-recycle. But thank you. Ako lang yun, no? If we have highly compromised individuals at home, natay mga elderly, seniors, mga bata, toddlers, or mga lactating mothers, please layo sila sa expired products. No, or mga food products na you have a doubt. No, so if you will not eat it, do not share it, especially to those people. Okay? Even slightly deteriorated foods will have adverse effect to these individuals. Kung kita nga healthy adults, kung imo nang ihatag sa mga senior citizens nga nanagipamati, no, sa lawas, under medication, susceptible kaayo sila, vulnerable kaayo sila. Okay. And then also another form of deterioration is physical. So naguba na iyang itsura sa man siya, murag pulburon maning cookies or something, no? Nag-caking na siya, breakage nga naman because it has already dried up. siguro it's past again its expiry date. No? So, unappealing na siya. You feel nga usik siya, imong siyang pilawan gamay, kung acceptable pang taste, a word of kuan lang sad advice is when a product has reached its expiry date, dili man sad ingon siya diretso makahilo, no? So, dili sad sa ingon nga ma-poison dayon ka. Kaya hindi ipakita, when it has reached its expiry, taste it. If it's acceptable to you, if mga 1 week pa lang, yan, yung itilawan, maayo man, okay man, crunchy pa man gihapon, then go ahead, you can consume it. But normally, kung beyond its expiry date yun, its flavor and its texture qualities will start to deteriorate. So, hindi na dito ka ma-expect sa ihang original crunchiness, flavor, or satisfaction to you. No? So, mawala na yun na siya yung texture, yung color. Okay? So, important remember no? That when we are considering packaging, to package better, faster, with lesser problems, down the line, no? First, know your product. So, bakit kita get to know your product, master your product, which I believe itong mga winners, di master na yun nila ilang produkto. And we hope that you also try to explore what are other ways to keep my product safer, to make sure that the end user will not be di maglain ang tiyan sa akong consumer. No? So, kompleto ka ang label sa imong produkto. Ang recommendation, kung i-refrigerate ni what temperature, no? Kung may refrigerate at 5 degrees Celsius. Be specific. Kaya nga naman, ay ubang mga household, nag-refrigerate lagi, pero tuwa dito sa may vegetable nga drawer, gibutang ang iyang bagoong. No? So, layo pa ayo siya sa chill temperature nga na tapad sa freezer. No? Immediately under the freezer, yun na dihang mga bagoong na mga sauce, kani mga high moisture foods diha gina siya. Dairy foods diha gina siya dapat ibutang. Okay? So know your ingredients, know the characteristics, know the process, and know the product shelf life. So protect yourself. Always let all this information appear in the label. No? So it's very important to know. Again, knowing your product is knowing their characteristics. Now, what is the water activity of your food? So, water activity is the measure of moisture, or water that is available for bacteria to use or to grow. And so, therefore, product categorized into high water content, intermediate water content, and dry food. So, each group will have different water activity, which is the measure of moisture. So medyo technical na ni siya gamay, but later on, if mag-import jud mo, you will have to know what's the water activity of your product. Kailangan tayong mga laboratory instruments for that, no? To know the moisture and water activity. Okay, so for processes, it's important to know what steps are you taking to make sure that your containers or your packaging is clean and safe. So if it's bottles or jars, you sterilize it. Sir Frank, do you undergo sterilization of your bottles, sir? Napa si Sir Frank?
Sterilize din siguro.
Sorry, wala ko sterilization sa akong product kay since I'm using plastic bottles man sa akong bagoong.
Yes, but they are from a supplier na nakagaranti na clean din sila mga plastic bottles, no? Plastic
yes, ma'am. Yes, daily wala ko nagamit og recycled na plastic bottles ma'am or plastic jars.
Yes, because ako na lang himuog benchmark si USFDA, no? Na kung mag-inspect to gyud ta, plastics daw are indirect additives to food. No? So the very fact na nagamit ka fresh containers, mag-guarantee find means to, if there is any way that bacteria can reach your packaging or your food, find ways to remove those bacteria. So matong niyon ko, know what is your target bacteria. Huh? So get to know what is your product. Research a little bit about it, or find safety notes. Then know how to control this bacteria. No, if your product is oxygen sensitive, no, like example lang, offer ka og mga crunchy nga product, chicharon, chips, banana chips. So they are good for nothing kung ngunit na sila. No? So ang imong kontra is oxygen. So you have to make sure, later on mag-expand na ka or na kayo opportunity, mag-export ka, imo i-explore, do you think any reduced oxygen packaging will work for me? Or pwede ba ako mag-inject of inert gases into my packaging na mura siya o kaning junk food ba, murag chippy ba, when you open it na ay siya gamay nga air mo gawas, no? So, those are the things you should explore. And unfortunately, dili ni pwedeng mag-aap lang ka, no? Mga itagtabang sa KNN, mga itagtabang sa
DOSC.
DOSC, no? Si FCG is also there. Cebu Chamber of Commerce, mga advertising is also there. No? So trainings are available. So do not be an island. Try to explore, try to ask the experts. No? So next, know your product shelf life. No? And oftentimes the shelf life of your product is determined by how good your packaging is. No? So it could be in any form, bottles, cups, cans. So it will determine, the shelf life of your product. So, and also, when we talk about packaging, it's not just considering how it will perform or how it will be displayed in the shelves, but also how it will be transported. Where will it be momentarily stored before transport? No? Is it exposed to light or oxygen? No? So this thing should be considered. That's why discuss na ba good manufacturing practices? Dita Carms, wa pa.
Ang uban na cleaners nakakuha na anak, pero kani sila murag bago pa din sila.
Nindot na siya nga next ninyong module or training topic later on kung namoy panahon.
In fact, we had a session with Ma'am
Marla.
Earlier.
A good combination of your knowledge about food packaging and good manufacturing practices, because mahibaw-an nimo ang workflow sa imuhang work area. Dili ka magpapakuha dirty area going to clean. It should be one workflow. It should be, if naana ka sa clean, di na ka mubalik sa dirty area. No? So that is the product contamination. No? So it's your work area or imong kusina, simple ra gud ka sa kusina, but is your kitchen well ventilated, or is it so enclosed nga humid kaayo ang area? Process pa ka, sa imong produkto, nagluto pa ka, humid na daan. No? So there should be proper ventilation, proper relative humidity. Pets do not access that area. Sometimes common na ba na kay kanila laging pet loving sa kanya, usay kani mga pets asa lang usay sa balay. So we have to be particular about that. So then we have to be attentive to product changes, no? Moto siyang ganihan, naghisgot tag physical changes, biological changes, chemical sensory changes. How is the smell of your product? Okay pa ba siya? Is it still crunchy? Kung crunchy man ganing na, no? Wa ba siya off taste? Wa ba siya nanimaho o something that is not biko, something that is not hipon, no? So then we are also particular about the modes of deterioration. Like example, kaning mga nut